With fans dragging WWE for booking AJ Styles on NXT and several superstars testing positive, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for December 22nd. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. After being betrayed by Team Taz back in July, Brian Cage apparently got some heat backstage in AEW due to his wife ranting about his booking in the promotion. On Keeping It 100, Conan mentioned that Cage will make his way to WWE. I found out about him because Norman Smiley, who works there as a trainer in WWE, said, "Hey, they're releasing this guy and he's a good guy. Can you help him in Mexico?" He did a tryout match with Eli Drake. They were a team somewhere in California, and they went for a AAA tryout, and that is where I met him. He was always bummed that he did not make it in WWE, so I think that was always his dream. Since his loss to Ricky Starks in October, Cage has not been seen on AEW TV. With his friend Kevin Owens re-signing with WWE, it was reported that Sami Zayn probably inked a new deal with the company as well. While many were thinking we could see Zayn make the move to AEW, Disco Inferno noted on Keeping It 100 why he doesn't want that to happen. "If I'm Sami Zayn, I am quite happy about the way WWE has been using me. I am someone who has a lot of free reign on the mic, it seems like, which I do not believe he would get a lot of time on the microphone in AEW. Why would he leave now? He wants to go back to his friends from 15 years ago? I think it's all about the money with this guy. I would rather work on a show that is on Fox and I'm getting mainstream publicity as opposed to wrestling on YouTube, which is all these guys end up doing, wrestling on YouTube, on Elevation and Dark and stuff. Why?" With Brock Lesnar set to face Roman Reigns for the Universal title at Day 1, Bully Ray talked on Busted Open Radio about how Lesnar does not get his dues for being on the same level as The Rock and Stone Cold. Just as Roman is going to cave in Paul Heyman's head via what looked to be a one-man concerto, the music hits and the place erupted. Did the place erupt for a babyface? No. Did the place erupt for a heel? No. The place erupted for a superstar that people refuse to give the right amount of respect and props to. You know, Roman has this whole thing, acknowledge me, as the head of the table. If anybody should truly be acknowledged in the wrestling business, it's Brock Lesnar, because Brock is so damn good at what he does, and he's so smart, but a lot of smart fans, who are actually dumb as the freaking day is long, don't get it. Brock is a megastar. Brock is on the same level as Austin and Rock, but because Brock had come and gone a little bit, you don't really see it. Talking about their role in the women's evolution, Bella Twin spoke on former WWE writer Freddie Prinze Jr.'s show, giving him credit for getting them their big break in the company. "We do give you a lot of credit because we were down in FCW for so long and they were like, we just don't know what to do with twins." We're like, seems like it writes itself. It was your ideas that you kept pushing that I think it made people in the company see there was something special. The greatest thing was there was no social media, and FCW didn't have TV, so nobody knew Nicole and I. It wasn't Nikki so much as it was me. They kept saying they had no idea. I had a boyfriend at the time who was like, "You gave up everything for wrestling. At what point do you start to give back to the people who were there for you? You never see your family. I'm here alone." I was like, that's a good point. I was the one who pushed it. Let us know. You told us at Diva Search you weren't looking for two. We begged to try out again. We drove here. We're getting paid peanuts. If you have no idea what to do with twins, we can go somewhere else. While the Bellas are WWE Hall of Famers and retired, they do have aspirations to return to in-ring action and become tag team champions. Happy Corbin has been going through many character changes in recent memory. Given he is one of the biggest heels in the company, it comes as no surprise that he was the one to take out Becky Lynch with his finishing move. This happened during the feud between Corbin and Lacey Evans and Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. On the Out of Character podcast, Corbin revealed the backlash after hitting Becky with his move. "When I hit Becky with the End of Days, I was getting death threats on a regular basis. 95% of critics on the internet are safely behind somewhere they can't be accessed." Roman said it the best one time, that he's never met a hater in real life. That's the same kind of thing with me. WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley has talked about trying to get into a feud with Jon Moxley in WWE. While this never came to fruition, Foley noted on Busted Open Radio that he was not able to pass the company's Impact test. I did not fare well on the WWE Impact test. I went to a neurologist independent of WWE and he told me I should never wrestle again. WWE's neurologist said the exact same thing. This is something that I am so proud of, and it shows I'm a wrestler to the end. When Robert Cantu, one of the most respected neurologists in the country, tells me I should never wrestle again, I look him in the eye and I say I can work an entire match around my left knee. He says, "Mr. Foley, you struck me as a very bright young man when I met you a couple of weeks ago. Since then I've been doing some research on you. You've got a lot to live for. If you think you can find another neurologist to clear you, then that's up to you. But I am telling you, you should never wrestle again." That was the end of the Moxley angle. With WWE previously scheduled to hold events in Canada next week, it seems many superstars and crew members reportedly were exhausted after a weeks-long marathon of live events and TV tapings. Now it's been noted that many have tested positive. PW Insider has learned from multiple sources that coming out of this past week's loop of live events and TV tapings, a number of talents and staff were feeling run down, and some have since tested positive for COVID, while others who were feeling sick are still waiting for their test results to return. Now it's been noted that the WWE Laval House show is postponed to Sunday, March 6, 2022, still at the Bell Place. All tickets from the December 30th date will be honored at a new show. Making his debut on SmackDown, Rick Boogs was paired with Shinsuke Nakamura. His charisma has endeared him to many fans, as Boogs recently noted on Give Me Sport that Vince McMahon ordered WWE higher-ups to not tone him down. At first it was funny. The first day we did it, I was more high energy than ever, because I was fresh and the whole pandemic was going on. So we weren't doing anything at the time too. I was just screaming my head off and going crazy. The higher-ups were like, "You've got to tone it down a little bit. Take it back a notch." I was like, "Yeah, we'll see about that." I just kept it up and I heard that Vince wanted it. He was like, "No, just let him be himself." And then eventually doing that over and over again and all that, I got a lot of people, especially when I got called up and I was in the locker room with everyone on the regular, they all stressed how much they appreciated the high energy. On Pat LaPre's podcast, Kevin Owens talked about the current product NXT is putting out, saying the name should be different for the brand. Today's NXT is very different than the NXT I was a part of, to the point I believe it should have a totally different name. I don't think it's better or worse, but it's just too different. So when I'm watching NXT, I don't see the NXT I was a part of. It's not the same thing. With NXT looking to focus more on developing characters as opposed to in-ring work, it'll be interesting to see if the company can build new stars for the future. With AJ Styles showing up on NXT 2.0 to confront Grayson Waller, fans have taken to Twitter to put WWE on blast for this. As one fan wrote, "AJ Styles looks pretty sad. Amazing talent, wearing just a black tee with his career not doing much in over a year. Man, sad to see this happening to him." Another said, "They trying to push this Waller guy to the moon, even bringing in AJ Styles to make him relevant. I just don't see anything in him. He's just annoying." And one user noted, "Fans on NXT 2.0, this isn't wrestling. There's nothing on the show to make me watch. So mad. WWE, okay, how about we send AJ Styles down to NXT 2.0 for a bit? Fans, OMG, so desperate for ratings, so sad." With Bryan Danielson recently going to a time limit draw with the AEW World Champion Hangman Page, the American Dragon noted that he would have never imagined a TV wrestling match would go 60 minutes. "If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that I would do a 60-minute match on television, I would have been like, where's that happening?" So I've had some really cool surprises this year. It's just a story device, right? And it's interesting to me in the sense of in sporting events, and especially when you're looking at MMA or boxing, and the idea that there are draws in boxing and that there are draws in MMA, usually what it does is it's a mechanism to lead to a rematch. As Johnny Gargano let his contract expire for WWE, he is expected to be away from NXT while his wife gives birth to their first child. Now, Gargano was told Iron on Wrestling that he has been planning to take time off. "I definitely felt very complete. I felt complete for the past year. This wasn't a decision that came out of nowhere. This was a decision I decided a year ago. Luckily, it worked out to where me and Candace are having a baby. The baby really finalized my decision on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to take this time. I'm very much a guy where I could have stayed comfortable for a very long time and I love NXT. The door is open. I can go back whenever I want. WWE in general, I can go back whenever I want. I really appreciate that because I'm so grateful that the company I dreamed of working for my entire life still wants me for a very long time, which is really cool. It's one of those things where I am a competitive person, and I feel like I've climbed that mountain. There are other mountains I want to climb and other things I want to try and do, not just in wrestling but life in general. Other avenues I want to try. I've always been enamored with creating content and things like that. Now I have free time to try to do that. I'm very lucky to have a loyal fan base that has followed me and continues to follow me even though I'm not in NXT and I'm doing my own thing now. On Busted Open Radio, AEW President Tony Khan revealed that an announcement regarding a rematch between Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson is coming soon. Yes, I have a favorite AEW match of the year, and it was last week's Bryan Danielson vs. Hangman Page 1-hour draw on Dynamite, and it's very topical. Not only is that my favorite thing we've done, I thought it was one of the best 1-hour draws you're ever going to see. I thought it was a very creative way for us when people ask what's going to happen in this match, and now there's so much intrigue around the title. I think it sets up a rematch that people are very excited about, and I'll have more about that tonight on Dynamite. There's been so much buzz on that, and I announced last week here on Busted Open. It was on Friday with Mark and Dave as we were previewing Rampage. Bryan Danielson is going to get another shot at the championship. Hangman versus Danielson 2. I'll have more on that tonight on Dynamite. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.